So we are here today with two incredible humans who I have known now for it's been I want to say over a year now, and we both have been watching each other's journeys. But before I deep dive into like the story, I want to know, can you tell us who you are and a little bit about your story before we break it all down?
Yeah, so I would say we are Michael and Ashley, otherwise known as Michael and Mom.
AKA mom.
Yeah, we have a podcast, Michael and Mom Talk Cancer. I am a cancer survivor of almost 6 years now. I live with chronic graft versus host disease, and I've been sharing my story on social media for over 5 years now.
I guess he kind of wrapped it up there. I'm Ashley. I am his mom. And yeah, it's been a tough journey. Lost my husband to cancer. Actually, in 2 weeks, it's going to be 10 years. So lost my husband 10 years ago to cancer, Michael's dad. And then Michael was diagnosed 4 years after he died, which was a shock. Michael was 19 at the time. He's
Yeah.
now 24. I know we'll get more into the story. But I'll just say briefly, first time around was kind of like deer in the headlights, taking care of 3 kids, being a caregiver, but also supporting the family and working. Second time around, gave up my career, stayed, had to focus on him 100%, which was very different, but we've really become advocates as well in the cancer community. And as Michael said, he's developed another disease after his bone marrow transplant, so we're advocates also for graft versus host disease. But we are grateful that it has led us to people like you, Jason.
Thank you.
Yes.
Forgot how kind and great you guys are, and how much energy. I just call you guys the duo because you feed off
Mm.
each other, you help each other. It's a beautiful thing because
No,
not
thank
many
you.
people do that. Um, but also it's hard too because you gotta give up a lot, and the sacrifices. I know we know they're worth it, but they're also hard at times.
For sure.
Especially life really goes by so fast. I want the story because people don't realize how many more we are united than because everyone just thinks they're alone in this. So first off, thank you for sharing that. But can we go back to like I think it was 2020 when Michael was diagnosed? Am I doing
Yeah,
the math
correct.
right? So it's
Yeah.
2020. Can you walk us through like how you found out about the diagnosis and what that looked like and felt like separately and together, and where you were right before you got the diagnosis? What were your plans? Like, that's a super important, I think, pivot point in people's lives.
Yeah, I had gotten home from college. It was March of 2020. I just finished my first semester, and I was doing a bunch of different things. Actually, I'd taken a break because I went to college. I didn't really like the college I was at. I was kind of lost. So I came home. I was working on becoming a lifeguard, getting my personal training certification, and then I was going to go back to college the next semester. And I noticed that I was starting to feel really tired when COVID started, when the lockdown happened in Miami. And I was going to the gym very consistently. I was swimming every morning, going to the gym and studying. And then I just found it harder to get up in the morning to go swim and go to the gym. And this fatigue just kind of dragged on for a few months. Nothing crazy though, like no really bad symptoms at first. I was just really tired, and it was just like, okay, I'm tired, whatever. I'm not in college. I'm stuck at it's COVID. Everyone's tired. Everyone's at home scrolling Instagram
That
and
was the
watching
biggest
movies,
thing.
right?
Hard.
We're not doing anything. We're isolated. So of course I'm tired. It sucks. No one liked COVID. And then I started to develop night sweats, and they became very consistent. And this was probably around, I mean, it's been a while, and I'm not sure exactly dates, but probably around like May, June. It was very
Yeah.
consistent night sweats. But again, I felt okay. I wasn't like sickly. But then in the beginning and the end of June, I started to notice I would have fevers and I was losing weight. And I would be seeing stars every time I got up too quickly. I just wasn't feeling good at all. And I was like, all right, something's probably wrong.
I
It,
thought he had COVID.
I was gonna say those
yeah,
are really
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
I thought I had COVID, but it was going on for too long.
A wonderful doctor that knew the kids
Hmm.
from the time they were really little. And she was like, okay, let's do a telemedicine. Did a telemedicine. She's like, you look good, but let's do a blood test. He went in. I was teaching. He went in for the blood test. Actually, his brother took him. And you can go on from there.
Yeah, I went there and went into the office, and I remember sitting in the office after doing blood work, and it was kind of some sun was coming into the room, and I was just like seeing stars. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And we did the blood work, we went home, and then a few days later, I'm giving you all the details because you wanted
Oh,
it.
please.
I know.
My friend was moving some stuff to one of his other houses because his parents have two houses, and I was going to help him move some stuff. And I remember driving. I started leaving my house. I was driving to go help him. I was like, "Oh, I'm so tired." But his dad offered to pay us like $100 to help him, and I was like, "$100, help him move some stuff, be with my friends. It's a nice day." And as soon as I get in the car and start driving down the street, my mom calls me and she's like, "Oh, Dr. Salinas called. She wants you to come to see a specialist today at the hospital. We should just go." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, I'll go." And then we went to the hospital. It was a children's hospital because that's the doctor she knew. I was 19. We get into the office. We wait our turn. I go in and meet with the doctor. He does some blood work because he looked at the labs and didn't like the way they were. So we did some more blood work of his own. And then he asked us to spend the night in the hospital the next day so I could do a procedure
And I
called
was like,
bone marrow biopsy.
I was like, spend the night in the hospital. He's like tired. He's not sick.
Yeah, I thought I was
Were they
anemic.
telling
You know,
you
I
that
was,
they thought it might be cancer yet?
I didn't think it
Did
was.
not.
They obviously were thinking it was cancer because it was a hematology oncology office, but I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
thinking anything.
But the hematology part, I was like anemic, something like that.
Yeah.
I really felt
Let's
like,
not stay at the hospital overnight.
I know. I thought they were checking the boxes. And as soon as we said, can we go home? He was like, yeah, just be here at 7 a.m. And we're like, cool, I can do that. I can go home, make dinner. I have 2 other kids at home, make dinner for my 3 kids, and we'll come back first thing in the morning, which is what we did.
Yeah, we came back the next morning and I did the bone marrow biopsy, and then I woke up from the anesthesia. The doctor told me I had leukemia or lymphoma, and then went to the 6th floor of the hospital, had a port placed in my chest.
The next day.
Yeah, spent a week in the hospital getting blood transfusions and doing a biopsy, I think again. No official diagnosis. Went home, I was put on a low dose of dexamethasone, which is a steroid. Well, not a low dose.
I was going to say
yeah.
not a low dose. He was
Oh,
put on,
yeah.
it was just like standard. Yeah.
chemo dose, and went home for a few weeks, which every single week we were getting calls from the doctor going into the
Every
hospital.
other day we were going into hospital for blood work.
blood work.
And he was getting, I think you got some transfusions at the time too. We'd go
Yeah.
into the infusion unit, blood work, transfusions. Didn't know what type of cancer.
Had they
And
told you, like, it's this type, though, and
It was
not
a blood cancer. They
severity, but,
knew it
like,
was a blood cancer.
well, okay, so they at least knew
Yeah.
one part so far.
Yeah, they knew it was a blood cancer, leukemia or lymphoma for sure at that point. They couldn't narrow it down because they had the diagnosis from the pathologist, but it was such a rare diagnosis that they weren't sure, so they were sending out the biopsy and the results to other hospitals around the U.S. to make sure.
we found that out later that the pathologist at the Children's Hospital actually right away within 24 hours diagnosed him with hepatosplenic T-cell lymphoma. But she told the oncologist, she said, I've never actually seen this type of cancer ever.
Wow.
So I would like it if you could verify with other pathologists. And he had a group, he was on a group, like he would show me. He was amazing, this oncologist, no ego. He did another bone marrow biopsy, sent it out, had 5 doctors on this group chat with their pathologists. And it took about 2 weeks for him to like come back with the diagnosis. We talked, we would go in. He's like, I know it's a blood cancer. We're narrowing it down. And every time we'd be like, I remember Michael and I having a conversation. We're like, maybe he doesn't have cancer. Like maybe he's wrong.
Well, because there was a doctor that came in and said, it's possible you just have a virus. What?
We did see him again, and he's a wonderful doctor, but I think he was being very optimistic.
Yeah, I like
And it was not a virus,
Yeah.
sadly.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
which hospital were you at? In Miami? Or
Nicholas Children's, yeah.
which,
Nicholas
I know
Children's
that one.
Hospital.
I know them.
It's a beautiful hospital. We are so grateful we are there. And when Michael was diagnosed, one of the first things I said, I actually spoke to someone. Now it's Blood Cancer United. At the time, it was LLS, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
I still think they're LLS.
I know, we still think of them as LLS, but it's BCU now, Blood Cancer United. I spoke with someone there because it was a really rare cancer, to see if, should we try to go to a different hospital? Should we go to, one of the more well-known, like Sloan Kettering, a place like that? In the end, it felt like Michael's oncologist, he was in touch with those same 5 doctors that helped diagnose him. They stayed in touch and they created a plan, because I don't know if most people know this, but usually most cancers, you have a roadmap. So there's usually a standard of care. If you have a certain kind of cancer, you do these chemos. But with the type of cancer Michael had, there is no
They have to
protocol.
find a new
There's no
system
protocol.
and
Since
process.
then, yeah, we've met other people with this cancer, and no one has done the same protocol. So it's one of those. And so his oncologist came up with a protocol that was very intense, and that's what we were grateful Michael was in a pediatric hospital, because in pediatrics they tend to be more aggressive, because usually children can handle a more aggressive chemo than adults. So they hit him with really hard, aggressive treatments. They ended up adding some chemos that weren't on his initial plan, because they found research that it helped. He did get into remission, and he had a stem cell transplant.
How long did you go through chemo, and were you also on radiation or just chemo at the
I
beginning?
did chemo for 3 rounds, so it was a few months, but really intense chemo. It was like each round was around 28 days, and they were very intense. It was like there was no breaks. As soon as the round was over, it was on to the next round to get myself into a deep remission. And then I had radiation before my bone marrow transplant to prep me for the bone marrow
Yeah, I
transplant.
was gonna say I learned about like the stem cells recently and like just the processes. Wow. Did you have to stay in like a bubble room for 28 days and 30 days away from
Pretty
everyone?
much, it was six
Yeah,
weeks in that room. Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah, I know this girl did 30 days and it's like, and like even your friends can't like even come and say
No,
hello.
no one can
No,
come.
well, I stayed with him. I didn't leave.
Yeah.
And his brother was allowed to come, but he would come in. He would have
Yeah,
to like stop,
yeah.
wash hands, put on a gown, put on a mask, take off the shoes, put on like the socks. But he was allowed in. They allowed his brother to come in. That was the great thing about being at a pediatric hospital, is they would allow like a mom and a dad. There was no dad, and Stephen had literally turned 21 the day before Michael was admitted for his stem cell transplant. And so they allowed Stephen to be like the dad. So they would let him in. He came, not every day, but almost pretty close. But we didn't see his sister. She wasn't allowed to come. She was 16, couldn't come. We did a lot of
She just didn't
FaceTimes.
love me enough.
She didn't
I'm
love you
kidding. I'm
enough.
kidding.
No, but they actually
Now we're
didn't.
going to clip this and we're going to send that part to her.
Yeah, you should.
But you know what? I don't know if I can tell this. There
You can tell
was
whatever you want.
No, we
there
snuck her in. It's
we snuck
fine.
her in on a weekend.
No one cares.
Everyone kind of knew,
Yeah.
but it was when Michael was like on the process. It was after his transplant. He was in the process of healing. He had engrafted. He was still sick, not ready to go home. But she came, I think, twice
Yeah.
towards the end.
Shh, our secret. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if they tell you beforehand, and please let me know, but one of the, I don't want to say side effects because it is a blessing that you get to have it and beat cancer, but you do have a side effect for the rest of your life of basically autoimmune disease now, right?
Well, not everyone.
Not
But
everyone.
yeah, I mean, I know actually these amount of people who don't, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's like 50% of people get GVHD. I don't know the percentage of people that get chronic GVHD. I'm sure it's probably lower. I'd say probably like 30%, maybe 35, I'm guessing.
We're being tongue in cheek because yes, there is a perspective, but there are some days that Michael like he's like, oh my God, my life,
Yeah.
this is not the life I expected. Of course, he
Chill
has
out a bit.
moments, but he doesn't stay there.
Right.
Like he has moments that he's like, this kind of sucks. Like, why can't I be a normal kid? Like my brother and sister, like my friends, they don't have to go spend time in the hospital. They don't have a port. He's had a port for almost 6 years
It's
now.
not just time in the hospital. It's that every day I
Yeah.
deal with stuff. You know, if there's not a day that goes by where I don't have a pain in my body or like a very uncomfortable, involuntarily muscle contraction. You know, my body has like these cramps throughout my body, these random aches and pains that are just signs and symptoms of GVHD that just don't go away no matter what I do. So it's frustrating because you look at me now and you can probably see me here. If you looked at me and you're like, does this kid have cancer? You're like, no, I don't have cancer, but I do
Not with
have
that
an
hair.
invisible disease, right? Yeah, with this hair, I have like an invisible disease, and it's hard for people to understand why I'm still tired and dealing with issues and not 100%, you know?
Stepping back from the whole situation and as a mother, what were you going through now knowing that your son is about to battle cancer and the dynamic of you have two other kids, you're working, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and manage all that because you've been through it. But, I don't mean this in any disrespect, I'm sure you probably will agree. It's very different when a kid has cancer than when an adult has cancer. And your mindset has to go right into mom mode instead of just like house mode, right? In a sense, like,
Oh, it was, of course it was different, you know. And also with Patrice, his diagnosis, I think we both thought too, like maybe this is good, like this, we are positive people where like this is a
yeah,
wake up call, you know, perspective on life, because his cancer was really treatable. Like I really thought he's going to go through chemo. This sucks. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, yay, cancer. But I was like, he's going to go through chemo. This sucks, but he's going to be fine. Like, this is a treatable cancer. So I was like, I'm on top of it. I got my kids. I'm going to just be mom and dad for a while. I was working. He couldn't work at all. Of course, when he was going through chemo, it was really hard for him to work. So I was working double time, taking care of him, and he had a chemo. The great thing was he had like one of those that was he would go in the hospital in the morning. They would put it in like a fanny pack kind of thing,
yeah.
and he could come home with it, and he didn't have to be admitted. And so it was kind of like it didn't feel. I mean, it was hard. He felt not good, but it wasn't as altering as when Michael was diagnosed. Now, granted, Patrice got into remission after 5 cycles, and we were like, yay. But he never really felt great, and he relapsed really quickly. And when he did relapse, it was hard. They started chemo again, but then he started getting admitted because he had a lot of complications, and then his body just shut down, and he passed away really quickly. So it was definitely hard, but when Michael was diagnosed, the doctors asked us not to Google it. His doctor said, don't Google this cancer. And right away, neither
You
one of us
Googled?
didn't,
Uh,
didn't,
and you didn't, Michael?
No,
not in the beginning.
I don't
In
know how I
I,
resisted,
you
but I
were
just
20
did.
years old and you didn't pick up Google. That in itself is a
19,
miracle.
19.
You know, I felt like since the beginning of the process, I was just like, I'm not gonna Google anything because I'm already scared. I don't want to get more scared. I'm just gonna focus on
We
what I
knew
can control, and that's it.
when they handed me the piece of paper with the name of what the cancer was, I knew it was bad. And we knew that there had only been one patient at the hospital that they had ever seen in the time that that hospital had been there with this cancer, and we
Okay.
knew that he died. And that's all we knew. And it's true. A few months later, I did Google it, but not right in the beginning. I just knew it was tough, and I didn't want to know what Dr. Google was going to tell me. So we trusted his doctors, and I spoke to someone, as I said, at LLS, that said this is a rare aggressive cancer.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I didn't need to look up Google. I talked to enough people that I felt
Nowadays,
like
you could have just asked ChatGPT.
I know. But right away I did know that with Michael, I they did tell us his only chance of survival was the BMT, the bone marrow transplant. And so and his treatment was super aggressive. So in the beginning, what I would do was when he's admitted, I was teaching early childhood education classes. I sort of told people what was going on, that I was dealing with an illness with my son, and the weeks that he was admitted, I didn't teach. I told them we would do makeup classes in the future, and I refunded people that had paid me in advance, and I taught when I could, and he had friends that would come over sometimes and stay with him when I'd have to go teach. But when he went in for the stem cell transplant, I realized I couldn't do it. I closed my studio and I was like, you know what? In 6 months, I'll be back. And I just trusted. I was like, there's no way. I need to be with him 24/7. And at that time, as you said, you're living in a bubble. I was teaching babies, like the germs,
Oh, yeah. Gotta be
the
careful.
amount of microbes. Like I was fine not getting sick because I had that immunity, but Michael was going to zero immunity. Already with the chemo, I was worried. But when it
And right
got to
before stem cell treatment, you go to zero.
yeah,
Like, destroy your blood, your
yeah.
red blood
It
cells.
goes
So,
to zero.
yeah.
Everything goes to zero. So I stopped teaching, gave up my career. I always say like I gave up this future that like I thought I saw and I was like, I'll just be his caregiver. It was a no-brainer. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about money. I was just like, we will find a way and I gotta do this. And it's what I did. And you know, I was really grateful. The good thing about COVID was that my older son, who as I said had just turned 21, was in college. He was a junior, but because of COVID, he was doing classes online. He was at home. So he and my daughter, who was 16, they kept each other together. They kept each other company. He took care of her. We FaceTimed all the time. A friend of mine set up a meal train, which was amazing. So they got fresh food every night they had dinner. I mean, yes, could they cook? Yes, but it was a beautiful gift that people came and checked on them every day. And you know, we do have FaceTime, and but that was the gift of COVID was that Stephen was home. So he and Jennifer were together. And you just, I don't know, you just do what you have to do. There was no decision making. There was no, let me think about this. It was like, he was diagnosed. I cried for a second. When he was diagnosed, when we were told he had cancer, I remember calling Stephen. We both cried on the phone. Stephen came to the hospital. And then you just do what you have to do.
Go into
And
mom mode real quick.
you do. You go into I will lift up that car and do whatever I have to do. And you somehow do it. And then afterwards, you know, things are
Yeah.
different.
And you get
But
to
when
bring
you're
it.
in it, you just do it.
Now, Michael,
Yeah.
very nice. So we're gonna flip it on to you. How was it having your mom around?
I was so lucky. Like, I don't think I'd be alive if it weren't for my mom. You know, the reason I'm on this podcast is definitely because of her. You know, when I was
Me
diagnosed with
too.
cancer. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, it's one thing to go through cancer, but it's another thing to go through cancer alone. And I think I was so lucky to go through it with her. You know, I've heard nightmare stories of people who don't have that support, and I can just see them struggle so much with their mental health and even with their outcomes. You know, I think that mental health is a huge part of recovering from cancer and staying positive during cancer. And that mental health aspect was definitely probably the best it could have been regarding my situation because of the support, because of my mom, and it really allowed me to go through it and feel confident in the treatment path and my doctor. She reassured me, and whenever I would get scared, I talked to her. So I was very, very lucky. And I'm still very lucky to have her by my side.
Kind of a crazy thing, you know. We were always close. Like I love being a mom. I was always close with my kids. But everything we went through with Patrice, with Michael's dad, the kid's dad, I think it made us even closer. And I always say, like, my kids didn't go through the bad teenage years because those were the years Patrice was in chemo and that he died. And not that they're perfect, not that they're saints, but it just made them, it made it that we were a really tight unit.
You
And
just
so
got
when
a
this when this,
Okay.
of course, they're not, no, I would never say, none of us are perfect, but we were close and we would talk about things. And I think like going through it with Patrice made us, like it was a blessing, you know. I know sometimes people say things happen for a reason. You're like, really? What's the reason my husband dies when my kids are 12, 14, and 16? But maybe not a reason, but maybe you can make something good out of it. And I think that what we can make good out of it is that it brought us so close together. It kind of just solidified our relationship. And so when Michael went through it, it made it like, okay, Michael always says this, and I don't know if I can say this for him, but it was kind of like for his dad. He was like, I'm going to do this for my dad. And I think it was the same for all of us. We were
Yeah.
like, your dad is with us, and he didn't make it, and we're going to do everything we can so that you do. It just made us, we were so close. And Michael and I, we really are. I think it did bring us even closer yet again. And I've seen how cancer and heart events sometimes tear families apart.
Yeah.
And I have seen that. And I think I was like, that's not going to happen to us. And it was the opposite. I think it's just built us, it's made our bonds even that much tighter.
I've always learned, and I take a very valuable lesson. I always try to still. It's people are always for me. It's like, how the hell are you still alive? Because I went. It's like if you go through 5 things, 6 things. I've gone through like a lot, at least in other people's eyes. I just think it's my life. But I always say if you can find a way to turn that pain into a purpose,
Yeah.
then there's a reason for it. You got to look at the gift and the curse. And I try to always. Everyone has down moments. You can have down days. You can have a down week. It's part of life.
Of course.
But you have to realize that now you have to take what you're going through in that down day, learn how to channel it into now that's another new pain for purpose, and just keep adding those purposes together and get a greater purpose. So that can keep just growing into a bigger thing. Maybe it's just one day someone hears that story and you help them and you don't even need to know that you helped them. But it's because you're picking yourself up every day and knowing you're allowed to be down. Because anyone who thinks they don't have a right to be down hasn't processed anything. It's just you have to find the way out because no one else, I don't care what anyone says, no one's going to get you out of the funk unless you're ready for it. So you have to be ready for it. So you just learn how to take the pain and have a purpose for it. And maybe that's my craziness thinking.
No,
But
we feel the
No,
same.
I
We
100% agree.
yeah.
totally agree. And I think what you're saying is I like what you said there too. You can't get out of your funk until you're ready. But I do think being able to talk about it, being able to express it helps you move forward. You
Oh
know?
yeah, but you have to be ready to talk about it too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of like,
But you need a witness as well.
Yeah,
I
because
know.
when you're
People
alone,
talking to
when you're
myself.
alone through something, it's so much harder for you to feel like you want to keep going. But when you realize there are other people in your corner, other people who are going through something similar, it makes you want to rise up and connect with them, and they understand your struggles. Connecting with other survivors and people with GVHD has been a huge part of my journey and a huge motivator for me to continue on and continue being positive as well. And that's why we've been doing social media. That's why we share our story because we know it helps us and it helps other people.
And because you kick the shit out of the odds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
People
but,
know
I always think that's like
oh,
just luck. It's like I survived that cancer with a 15% chance of survival, but other people didn't, and they didn't do anything wrong. So
Right.
I
right,
like
but
to share
everyone
that,
can if they
but
can to
also,
keep fighting. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But if you don't have the mindset thinking that you can, you're not going
right.
to.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like it's like a survivor's guilt thing. It's like you look at it and it's like, well, I survived, but someone else didn't, and does that make me better than them? No, we're equal. It's just I maybe caught it a little earlier, or had better treatment, or responded better to the treatments, and it's just how it is as a cancer survivor.
And you were healthy. I think it's also a good
Yeah, yeah,
life, proactive in your health at any age. Again, we see a lot of this new generation. They're so, and I mean this with no disrespect, but the new
yeah,
generation is stuck behind computers, laptops, and tablets and cell phones, and no one's working out anymore. Or they're not outside playing in the grass and getting natural immunity to like stupid illnesses that no wouldn't even affect him right now because he was born playing in the street. But now you have kids who can't even like go down the street without having like massive attacks of like something that is like. So it's just
yeah.
being proactive, eating healthy. But again, everything in repetition. Like people are like, why do you always? I go because I eat like 99% of the time very clean. But like I'm not gonna stop myself from eating pizza or going out here and eating that because the second I stop myself from enjoying what I love, what's the point?
Right,
Of
a hundred
course.
percent.
Of
I totally
course.
agree.
And I mean, I live in New York, so a slice is a slice.
I agree. I love pizza. I don't eat as much as I once used to, but if I'm out somewhere, my friends are having it, or we're traveling, I'll have a pizza. It's fine.
Right. But I like that. You're just, you gotta learn to just keep going. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you've become advocates for it because even in the small, rare section that it is, it's still probably hundreds of thousands of people, if I'm guessing. Letters.
There's thousands,
What?
Thousands, yes.
probably
Thousands.
tens of thousands.
I don't know. We should be looking this up
I don't
because
know.
I don't
Well,
know.
you guys are the advocates. I'm just asking the questions.
No, there's
No, no,
enough.
no.
There's enough people for sure. There's a lot.
But there's
Not
enough
crazy.
that they need to know people like you and your story. And I think
Right.
that's the beautiful thing because, again, cancer is cancer and almost anyone can get it at any time in their life. And that's just a reality. But the rare cancers, people just feel more alone, but they're not alone. And they need to realize it's just harder to find someone to connect to. So
Yeah.
it's good that you guys put that out there.
Yes.
100%.
So we know that you went through only 3 rounds of chemo, but like, what was that like for you? Because you said you still have the port in.
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
the port because I do treatment through this port. It's a very specific treatment, but yes, I went through 3 rounds of chemo. It was super, super fun. I loved it so much. No, chemo was it was in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's not that bad the first few days, and then it hits you after like a week.
Yeah.
So it was rough, but it was manageable in like the initial chemo. But the chemo from the transplant was really, really rough. Like I only vomited I think like once from the original chemo, but when I did
Way more than once.
the original chemo, no.
Second cycle. First cycle, no. Second cycle was so hard.
I don't even remember.
I remember.
I-
He had
yeah.
to be admitted so much for a fever and then vomiting and back pain. I think a lot of it Michael doesn't remember.
Oh no,
so
now I remember. Yeah, I do. The first round was easy. The next 2 rounds
Yes.
were really hard,
Yeah.
and the transplant was like I vomited like 100 times.
Oh
in the
my
transplant,
gosh.
like
was
like
nonstop.
literally like 100
It's your
times.
body rejecting it or trying to adapt to it, right? In a sense.
Yeah, it was rough. And then after the transplant, well, I would get admitted like every few weeks where I would vomit like literally 100 times in one night and just be vomiting like just water and like bile. It was just like little green and go to like the ER. Like we went to the ER like
So many times.
every single weekend for like a few months. Like it was like they knew us there because oh, you're here again because you can't stop vomiting and you can't eat food. So
There was just
There you go.
always like this blue bowl that was next to Michael just in case. Whether we
Yeah.
were at home or in the car, there was this big old blue bowl
and
that
in
was
the
like,
middle
that
of
was
the
the
night,
mama bowl.
in the middle of the night, if she heard me retching, she'd be like, "All right, I'm getting the car keys, pack
Yep,
some clothes."
I had a bag, a hospital bag, always packed because we were
Yeah.
always in the
We
hospital. We
were-
spent 2 years.
We were
And
admitted
was that
for
from the
yeah.
treatment or the stem cell like? Because
That was the GVHD.
That was the GVHD.
That was when I had gut and like gut, which is like stomach GVHD really badly, and I couldn't tolerate like any foods that had any amount of dairy or even just anything really. I really couldn't tolerate much except for like just plain chicken with nothing on it, plain pasta and egg whites. I ate that diet of just nothing, no seasoning, no salt, literally just plain for like a year or two.
It was tough.
Like
Yeah.
just that was all I ate. Was
So
just,
now that's great Balkan season.
now it's bulking season, yeah. Now we're
But
eating everything.
diet, not eating everything.
No, eating
diet
everything
is
healthy.
still limited, very healthy,
Yeah. Yeah,
limited.
very healthy.
No red meat, but some chicken.
Yeah.
Still got our chicken.
I eat
rice.
chicken every night.
Pretty
Chi-
much.
Yeah.
Fortunately, sometimes do what your body says to do and not just doctors.
Yeah, I can't even tolerate red meat. It's
And it's like I can eat 10 pounds of red meat and I feel amazing. I eat
Yeah.
a quarter of a pound of chicken and I can't move for 2 days.
That's so crazy.
you gotta come here and try the chicken we're eating because our chicken's good.
Fresh off the farm.
I wish.
I don't know. There are chickens down the street, I will say that, but I'm not the one that's cutting them off.
Fresh off of Publix and Whole
Biscayne,
Foods.
Biscayne Boulevard.
So, was there a moment during like the hardest moments where you guys just kind of, in going through it, that you guys lost faith or were just emotionally drained that you didn't really know or were able to see the next steps? And like, if someone was listening right now who's going through like the darkness, what would you say to them? That because you guys obviously pulled out of it, got stronger, and now know how to deal with those types of days a lot better.
Yeah, definitely when I was dealing with the GVHD, the liver, that became really bad in 2022, like January. I had been dealing with it for about a year and a half, and we were just constantly living in the hospital. We've been admitted for even 5 months at one point,
At
and
that point, that was during it.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
during it. And my bilirubin, which is a liver enzyme, was at like 36, which is like
Insane.
they thought I was gonna need a liver transplant because of the liver GVHD. They thought I didn't think I was gonna survive. I was extremely depressed on very high doses of steroids. I couldn't sleep, wasn't eating. I was like 115 pounds. It was bad, and I told the doctors I didn't want to do treatment anymore. I told them I wanted to quit because it was too hard. But my mom and the doctors and everyone was really supportive, and they continued to push me in a very gentle and kind way. And my therapist and everyone in the hospital really supported me. And I think if I could tell somebody who's going through a really hard time is that like when you're at your lowest, like it seems like it's over and nothing can get better from that point. But really when you're at your lowest, there's only opportunity for it to get better. And at that point, like couldn't see that because I felt like I had been at my lowest for so long. I just couldn't see anything getting better because I was like, this is what GHD is like. Is it going to be like for the rest of my life where I'm constantly getting sick? I can't eat foods, I can't gain weight. But just by
And that
pushing,
wasn't about gaining weight to look good. It was gaining
no,
weight to have the
because
strength to walk.
yeah,
I was pushing him in a
I was
wheelchair in the
fainting every time I
hospital.
walked.
Yeah, he's 115 pounds and you're like 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like very frail. It was difficult, and I think that, you know, the only way to get through hard times, it's simple, but it's not easy. It's just to keep going. And you have to just go and find out what's going to happen. And that's what we did. We just said, okay, we have to accept this. I can't fight that I have chronic GVHD. There's nothing I can do to change it except do the treatments and be healthy. And just accepting that situation and moving forward and continuing on, I found a way to adapt, to move forward, and to like modify my lifestyle to still enjoy things and still live a semi-normal life with this condition.
It wasn't like, yeah, there was a moment of like, oh my gosh, it was so dark. And Michael lost hope. He was like, I'm not going to live. He told me, I want to go on hospice like dad. I want to be off treatment. I want to die peacefully like my dad did. And I remember I was like, give it 2 weeks. I remember saying, can we negotiate 2 more weeks of treatment? I was like, anything. And that point, and one thing I think I would share is that, as you said earlier, Jason, like I couldn't jump inside of him and fix him. And as a mom, that was the most humbling thing in this whole experience. Like I wanted to fix him, I wanted to help him, and I couldn't because at that point physically his body was failing, but also mentally he was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But the one thing I think that we did that was helpful was talking to his doctors about what was going on, he had a therapist, we talked to a psychiatrist. We weren't afraid to say, maybe for a moment, maybe Michael does need an antidepressant for a short time, and that's okay. Maybe, and he had a therapist, and she was coming every day. And we had palliative care, not hospice. We had palliative care coming to help with pain. But they don't just help with pain. They also help with quality of life. So they helped us adjust things in the hospital. Like Michael wouldn't get woken up at 2 in the morning for vitals. At this time, we were in that 5-month period of living in the hospital. So we cut out the vitals so that he could sleep, because sleep is one of the worst things when you're depressed, right? We talked to his doctors. We ended up changing one of his medications, the steroids that he was on that were really affecting him and affecting his sleep. We ended up changing the dose. So I think, we got support. We asked for support. We didn't just say, there's nothing we can do. And, that we were together. The other kids would still come to the hospital. We would hug. We would love each other. We would cry. We let Michael be dark, but we also continue to be like, no matter what, we love you. And I think that that also helped. But we also asked for help. I think it's really important when you're going through cancer, when you're going through whatever chronic illness you're going through, that you also, it's okay to ask for mental health because it's not just physical. When you're going through all these physical things, you probably need mental health support.
Yeah, not gonna get emotional, but you two seem to always want to try to bring me down that road. But because I'm just remembering, because I remember, I had to take care of my mom when I was 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 17. 14, 15, 16, 17. Those 3.5 years. And it's like similar situation. And it's weird because we're like opposite. But like, I totally understand from a weird point of view because I was so young. So I shouldn't actually understand your point of view, but I do. But then I know the flip side, which is why I started Bring a Voice and the charity in honor of her. Um, because I had no one. Like, if I wasn't I always say I'm just stubborn. Stubborn. I'm stubborn. It's in my bloodline. If I wasn't stubborn, I wouldn't have gone through it because I had no one, literally no one. And I fought battles like as I think no one watching this knows, but in my 20s, I fought almost every day for 7+ years to just survive. I was brought back to life several times. They gave me 6 months to live, 6 months before my 30th birthday, and not a single person ever was there during any of that, really.
We're here for you now, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice to see the support, and that's why I started Bring a Voice because I didn't want anyone else's voice to be left unheard and go silent. So I like seeing that. I like hearing those stories, even though they're sad. They're not because, again, you gotta look at the blessings. You guys got closer. Your whole family got more intimate and being more emotionally available and open. You're probably all with the other two kids too, the same, like just deep connection. Might not be there. I don't. Are they your roommates too or no?
So Michael and I live together. My older son Steven lives on his own. He's 26 and he is on his own. And my daughter is 22 and she had been living in Canada and then in Barcelona. She's home now, figuring out where she's going to go next, if she's going to go back to Barcelona. Right now she is at home and I love it.
Smiling, way too happy that her.
No, I'm happy for her to spread her wings and fly. She's actually waiting for a visa to go back to Barcelona, but considering staying
Give
in
her some Red
Miami,
Bull.
considering
gives you wings.
considering staying in Miami because she's also building. She's in yoga and dance and building some clients here. So we'll see. Whatever she decides to do, I'm good. I'm happy if she travels. I'm happy if she's here.
Nice. And
Yeah.
your other son, though, he lives in Florida still too?
About an
Or
hour away, so we
okay,
see him. We try to see him at least once a week.
okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he's a little over an hour away.
But that's like the blessings. It's again looking at how bad the pain is to build. That's the passion that comes from just building the family tighter. So
Yeah,
that's the beautiful thing. You gotta look at the beauty, right?
100%.
But all right, I'm not getting emotional. Not getting emotional. Not getting emotional. So I'm gonna bring it back a little. I don't even know if it's on here, but right before all this was going, like everything happened and like COVID happened, 2020 happened. What were you all doing before that? Like you were 19. So,
I just turned 19 like a month before my diagnosis.
oh
Well,
wow.
2 months, but yeah.
Yeah, month, yeah.
Yeah.
What were what were you planning on doing and have we gotten back on track or has that track changed?
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you earlier, I was in college and I was
Oh my
gonna,
God, someone's joining the conversation.
Our kitty cat.
yeah, he's joining.
Sorry, you got outstaged for a moment there, buddy.
I'll take it. He's quite the star.
He is. He's so cute.
He's
And
not
Cat
small.
training is
he's
great.
so smart. He's like the most beautiful, loving cat. He's like a typical orange cat. He's just like a lover.
Now that you were outstaged for a moment, let's just continue back. So you were just 19.
Yeah, I was just 19. I was gonna go back to college the next semester, and then I was diagnosed. And now what I'm doing is I just got my personal training certification. I'm gonna get my certified nutrition coach
Awesome.
certification, and I'm gonna start. Well, actually, have started. I'm doing an online fitness coaching for getting cancer survivors back into shape, helping them feel confident
Love
after
that.
cancer. So my goal is to train cancer survivors, work with them, and yeah, that's the route I'm going through right now.
We still speak together.
Yeah, we're still doing the
We
advocacy, the
advocate.
speaking, the
We're
social media,
advocates.
but yeah, that's
Yeah.
But
the
that
goal.
avenue is really smart if you break it down and uh, I, I I won't. I'm not going to force my opinion on you, but that's a smart move to make. Greatly received in the community.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yes.
that is awesome. And
thank you.
then, no, that's great. What's your channel so we can tell people to follow you for
Yeah,
the
it's
guy?
Michael Reed Kramer, Michaelreidkramer.
We'll make people know that because I think that's a beautiful thing. It
Yeah.
helps them,
Yeah,
and it also probably helps you. Keeps you motivated
yeah, yeah,
on
100%.
target. You guys now we're out of the cancer scary parts, and now we're dealing with autoimmune.
Yeah.
Do we know, or do they have any idea? I guess we should realize. I'm really asking is, do we have any idea like that will be for everything? Will it get better over time? Will medicine's always advancing, but let's not, that's not what we're at right now. So like, do you guys have like different trajectories now, or is it going to go in the same path? He's going down that road. Have you relived your teaching at all, or thought about trying to branch out again too?
So, yeah, I am doing something different. I'm actually doing I just did a grief educator certification because I
Oh,
lead support groups for cancer caregivers. And David Kessler, a lot of people will know who he is, does a lot of grief education. So I just went through his grief certification. And I'm actually doing my yoga right now. I have a little bit longer, but I'm doing my yoga certification because actually I want to use it as well for caregivers and in the oncology world with breath work, meditation. So yoga like
I
for
love that.
traumatic. Yeah, so we're both, it's a little different from what I did before. I loved being an early childhood educator, and it's not something that right now I'm ready to go back to either. And Michael is still immunocompromised, and it is a different thing. And I think both of us also still really want to be in this world of oncology and rare disease and support caregivers and survivors. So we're both kind of going in a similar direction, slightly different. Mine is more meditative and yoga, and his is more, working out, but it's connected. It's really connecting mind and body.
I
I
think it's
think,
great. But you guys found new paths because of this too. Like
yeah,
that's again, that's the blessings that
yeah.
you learn so much about a specific thing now that now you and you're great energy, great, and you know how, and you can talk. You
We're
could
good
definitely
at talking.
Michael should talk. I mean, that's it's what mommy does. So I think
Yeah,
that would be great.
I talk a lot. Like I also do have a happiness certification, so I give workshops on happiness as well, which is something else I love doing.
I
So
think
I've
that's
been
great.
doing that as well, and that's beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to tell them that information too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for anyone being able to find ways to communicate better with this.
But it's about adapting, and you've adapted pretty well. It sounds like you're pretty healthy now, and that's what's important.
And you have to adapt. You have to do what you can do.
Yeah, mine's all just hyperbaric oxygen. I'm just
Mhm.
filled with oxygen right now.
Ah,
Does keep you alive.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to personally say thank you so much. The duo definitely didn't disappoint because you guys are amazing. I forgot how amazing and crazy your energy is, but I love it. It's crazy, like infectious. I love how positive you guys are. I'm blessed that the good side of social media brought us together, and I love that you're doing better right now. So that's a blessing to always hear.
Thank you.
So please listen to your mother when she tells you to get some rest.
Yeah.
But but also just you guys have something very special, and you should always keep that. I hope that everyone sees that because it's a blessing and it's a beautiful thing, and it's just wholesome. It's like one of those things that you don't see every day anymore. So it's a beautiful thing. I can't wait till other people hear your story and see how great you guys are as a duo, but also individually. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on this hopefully podcast for a while if it lives. But
Yeah,
thank you.
it will.
Oh my God, you made me
Yeah,
cry.
thank
Talk
you.
about getting emotional. Now you made me cry.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It was
It
beautiful
was,
to
yeah.
talk to you. It's so easy to talk to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us the honor of being
Yeah.
here and talking to your listeners
And
as
for
well.
allowing us to go on for as long as we did, telling our story.
I know. To
Hey, we're
talk
all
forever.
human. Your story counts. It matters. So I don't care if
Yeah,
it was
thank
30
you.
hours.
Thank you.
Everyone should hear it and the details.
Thank you.
That's what makes us all human. But thank you. So,
We are so grateful to have met you, Jason.
Yeah,
aw.
we are.
Yeah,
Well,
truly.
feeling is mutual. So we'll say, I will see you soon. And when we all can, whenever I get to Florida, we will definitely have to link up. And if you ever,
Yeah.
yeah,
We're
we'll
going to get to New York maybe in August.
you'll
Mm-hmm.
have to
We
let me
will
know.
let you know.
All right, this is why I like to just have some fucking fun. I don't care if you curse at this point. Rapid fire, enjoy it. Are you both ready?
Yes,
Yes.
scared. I'm
First
a little
one's my
scared right
favorite.
now.
Who's more stubborn?
I am more stubborn.
I think so.
Who's funnier?
Me.
No, not even close.
That's not true. How do you think you got your sense of humor? This is the thing, Jason. Do you want to know the truth? He got my
Yes.
sense of humor. So that is one of the things that out of all the kids, like, we have this, like, sense of humor that's really in sync. Look at him. Those of
No.
you that are watching and not listening, you should
I do
Literally.
not,
understand.
I do not associate with her humor.
No.
I'm thinking you do, bro. How would you each describe each other to others?
I would describe my mom as loving, caring, empathetic, and strong.
But not funny. That's funny.
No,
And you?
not funny.
I would describe Michael as
Funny, sexy, and beautiful.
There you go.
okay. I would not say sexy as his mom.
That's true.
I would say funny.
That's true.
I would say beautiful, and I would say he was always funny. He was always charming. But he is, in the last, since going through this, he's also become this giving, beautiful human that helps so many and inspires so many. He was always a great guy, but there's just so much depth. And I'm so blessed to see how he has just blossomed.
Aw.
That was deep.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you.
Even though this is a little limited. Favorite foods or food?
Okay, so I'm not gonna say pizza because it's not the food I eat the most anymore. My favorite,
But it was his favorite food.
my favorite food that I eat now, I'm trying to think. It's either tangerines.
Nuh-uh.
I love tangerines.
Never expecting that one.
I know. He does eat them every day, like one or two a day.
I really like tangerines, or
Well, you are in citrus capital of the world.
yeah, I'm gonna say tangerines for now.
All right.
Wow.
And Ashley?
Okay, I'm going with the pizza. Like,
Okay.
I barely ever eat it.
I mean, but it's
I'm
like-
super healthy. I'm like a
Pizza's
vegetarian.
Yeah, I guess you could say it is my favorite food, but
I'm more vegan than not vegan, but I will eat a really good pizza. And when I was pregnant with Michael, fun fact, his favorite food has also always been pizza. I can't believe he just said tangerines. Like, I'm shook right now, honestly.
because I don't eat pizza enough for it to be
I
my
know,
favorite food.
but it's still your favorite. Okay, when I was pregnant with him, I ate pizza every single day. But of course, I was living in France at the time, and the pizza there
It's healthier.
like
Also healthier.
delicious,
You would over there.
way healthier. I'm not talking Domino's here. I'm talking like good.
I'm never talking Domino's.
Never,
I'm
right?
lost.
We're talking good pizza. That's how, like, I like good pizza.
Yeah. I have a question, which I know the two answers I'm looking for, but you get to give me the two, and then we'll have a debate. What are your hidden talents or past hobbies or things that you did that no one knows about, or you
Hidden
don't talk
talent?
about a lot?
I
I
think
guess
you're windsurfing.
I guess you could say I was a windsurfer in the Olympic development team.
And he was
I didn't know
really
that, and
good.
that was not what I was looking for, but we will run with it for now. You were a windsurfer. Is that why you like surfing?
I started windsurfing, yeah, probably when I was 13 or 14. Probably like the same time I started, I was starting windsurfing. But I was sailing before, so I was on the water.
Ah,
Yeah.
Also,
are you
he's a fantastic Lego builder. In the hospital, we would do like Lego building competitions.
That is true.
Oh wait, I also have the Pharrell Williams one.
Can I say something?
like-
So
can.
I taught Pharrell Williams.
Oh,
There's a little, not him, his son. His son and his beautiful wife used to come to my class. And that's a little known fact. What a cool guy. He
Yeah.
was a beautiful guy, and his wife, just beautiful, lovely human.
wow, that's
In
amazing.
Miami. It was beautiful. I taught Rocket for a while.
That's beautiful. Now, the two answers I was looking for, are we going to tell the viewers?
Yeah.
Okay, I was a dancer on Broadway.
And another cat. There we go.
Okay, the little known fact, I was a dancer. I did like Broadway, and I also recorded.
New York Broadway?
Yeah, and I
Oh,
also
really?
recorded an album when I moved to France, and I was on tour as a pop artist, and then I got pregnant with my first, so gave that up to be full-time mama.
You can't just roll off on like the crazy parts and then say, I gave it all up.
It was fun though.
What Broadway plays?
Oh my gosh, Jason, this is a million years ago.
So you don't remember?
Oh my God, no one will even know. I was in a few things. I was in like a David Rabe. Do you know who David Rabe is? Is
Sounds
he
very
even?
familiar. I'm in New York. I love
I
theater.
know.
Just had a play a couple of weeks ago. Off Broadway.
This is like this is forever ago in like the late 80s, early 90s. And then I was on tour in France.
What
That's
with
my
what? With who? What did you sing? She doesn't like to give as much as she talks. This she doesn't give any information.
I know because it's so long ago. I did cabaret. I did I don't even.
thing?
Oh, he's gonna show you an album.
Oh,
He'll show you my album.
that's awesome.
She's not
Very-
lying. If you were having
I
doubts.
know. I actually have a video to like I have TV stuff like from in
That
France.
is awesome.
Yeah, I actually did an album and I was on tour as a recording artist in France, but in France. So the album it's like a combination of
Is
French
it in
and
French or is it in English?
It's a mix.
Oh,
We
that's.
did a mix.
I'm waiting for one little last detail that you both have done.
We've done raps. Yeah.
There it is.
We
Yes.
have done the most fun. It started out, why did we even do? I remember why. Because Michael was admitted forever, and the child life specialist was like, there's a music therapist here. And it was when Michael was starting to really get, I would say, depressed, anxious, treatment was not going well. And honestly, at that point, he was not doing well. And the child life specialist said, maybe she can come in and do some music. And Michael said, I don't want to. And I said, all right. I said, what do you
no.
think? Do you want to make some music with me? Because when we'd sometimes walk in the halls and I'd be pushing him in the wheelchair, sometimes I'd just put on a beat and I would just like jokingly like rap, like walking around in the hospital hall, wish we were at the Aventura Mall. Like I would just do like dumb stuff like that. And Michael would sometimes jump in because he does have my same sense of humor. And so I said to the child life specialist, you know what? Michael and I are going to make up a rap. And Michael's like, oh my God, Mom. And he's like, okay, we'll do it. So we made it up and just wrote it. And then I like kind of read it to her. She's like, you have to record this. So we had our mic from the podcast.
There's a
And
recording.
Oh yeah, I've recorded
Yeah,
it.
it's on YouTube.
And then I'll share you a link.
I
Then
need the
from that
link.
recording that I just recorded the vocals, I made a video. And so we started doing the first 2 or 3 were in the hospital when Michael was admitted. And then we've continued. I think we have about 8. I'll send you links, dude.
Oh, I'm putting it in this.
Yeah, my name is Michael. Grew up on this floor. I've been here so long, I can give you a tour. They put me on steroids, Billy won't go down. So that's why I'm here with a big ol' frown. Used to be a surfer, the girls liked me. But now I hang with nurses and do ECP. They took me down to UM, they didn't know me. That's why they're so confused when they saw my Billy. Little did they know I'm the king of 6 Tower. My Billy Rubin changes like every single hour.